This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Miss you. I wanted to know that you'd understand that I don't want to miss you, but what you waiting for? And I don't think anyone could care more. I'm not gonna kiss you any more time. Experience your love in the way you lie. We're just human, don't forget you owe me for reminding you you'll die.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host
Oh,
is.
you so know it that even on this lovely Friday, it doesn't matter who the fuck I am. It matters who you are, because that's going to be the important part of the whole aspect of the things that we have going on. No doubt about that. Anyways, today is Friday, August the 2nd of 2024, day 215th of the year, and only 151 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio. USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, that's what's going on. A lot of stuff. It's Freeform Friday. So what does that mean to us? Well, that means that we're going to talk. We're going to hang. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to play catch up on all the things that we didn't do all week long, on the things that we should have been talking about, but we let escape, that we didn't say anything about. So don't worry about that. We'll also have some professional broadcasters that come in and talk about the world of news and all that kind of fun stuff. So don't worry about that, because that's part of the gig. So this is episode 988. Yeah, 988. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? So many years ago of us being able to do this. So anyways, with that being said, let's talk about this real quick. Our show is about safety in the news and safety. Even though we play catch up on Fridays, for the most part, in regards to what's going on, you can still interact with our show by going to callinradio.com. Callinradio.com. So all you have to do is come in, actually go into that system. Once you get there, you can either do a video message, an audio message, or a text message. Those are some options that are available for you right away. That's callinradio.com. So there you go. Also, with that being said, I mean, I don't know. I listen to a whole bunch of stuff that's going on Orlando market-wise in regards to stuff that's happening. And I just recently found out that probably my favorite radio station in the local market that's, not streaming 24/7, meaning as we do with Radio Big and as we do with Safety FM, 101.9 went under. And, I have to tell you, there's a presenter that was on there in the afternoon by James Steele. Man, I have to say this. If that dude is ever looking to do anything, hit us up. I'm sure that we could probably work something out. So there you go. Anyway, so with that being said, why don't we do this? Why don't we start talking a little bit about what the hell was trending in the overnight? Because I think that this would give us in the right direction of what we're trying to do. So let's do that.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I look at the trends of the ends of the world, here's what it goes. A massive printer swap frees 3 Americans, and Elon Musk manages another lawsuit. So there you go. Tom Cruise will lose out on the Olympics, and Snoop Dogg reminisces about his girl, Queen Elizabeth. So there you go. Also, Colin Jost will host a new Jeopardy spinoff, and Netflix series ends in 3 seasons. We'll talk about that in the casting calls. And the Sussex tee up another interview. So a lot of stuff going on right there to talk about. No doubt about that. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into the world of stuff that is going on, because I think that this is going to be so important for us to address, talk about, and move and groove and all that other stuff. So with this being said, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and drop you into the news. I got the people from Feature Story News waiting just for you.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. A major prisoner exchange between Russia and the West has taken place, involving 24 prisoners, with 16 moving from Russia to the West and 8 being transferred back to Russia. 3 Americans have touched down on US soil to scenes of jubilation and relief after being imprisoned in Russia. Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, journalist Alsu Kurmasheva, and US Marine veteran Paul Whelan were part of the biggest prisoner swap between the West and Russia since the Cold War. They were met on the tarmac just outside of Washington, D.C. by their families, as well as President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Benji Hire watched the reunion unfold.
Applause, hugs, and raw emotion. The ex-detainees disembarking looking slightly gaunt, yet still smiling. Their families simply overjoyed. This exchange was historic and significant, the result of a multi-country complex operation involving in total 24 prisoners held in several different nations and taking place against a backdrop of the worst relations between the West and Russia in decades. US President Joe Biden hailed it as a feat of diplomacy, expressing his gratitude to international allies for helping free those that he believes were victims of politically motivated sham trials in Russia. Then I'll head to a medical facility in Texas for evaluation. Benji Hire, Washington.
The leader of Hezbollah has vowed to respond to Israel's assassination of one of the group's top commanders, telling supporters the war has now entered a new phase. From Beirut, Trent Murray reports.
Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah vowed to retaliate to Tuesday's airstrike in the southern suburbs of Beirut, which killed Fuad Shukr, one of the armed group's most senior military commanders. In a message directed to Israel, Nasrallah said certain red lines had now been crossed and that there was no discussion over whether there would be a response. Tensions remained red hot across much of the Middle East, following not just the strike in Beirut, but the assassination just 12 hours later in Tehran of the leader of Hezbollah's ally, Hamas. Western diplomats are working to diffuse tensions as European countries, the US and Australia tell their citizens to leave Lebanon immediately. Trent Murray, Beirut.
Even as the southern Indian state of Kerala is reeling in the aftermath of landslides where the death toll has now crossed 300, many regions in the north of the country have also been ravaged by heavy rains and flooding. Officials are blaming the above-average rainfall this month on the La Niña effect, which brings more rain to the subcontinent in the monsoon season. Neha Punya has more.
Rescue operations in the south of India and the state of Kerala have now entered their 4th day. Rescue teams are now searching for those isolated by the landslides. The Indian Army has constructed a 190-foot-long bridge to reach remote areas impacted by the landslides, and they've also now been able to take heavy machinery and ambulances to remote regions. Meanwhile, in the north of the country, 16 people have died in the Himalayan region of Uttarakhand after heavy rains triggered floods and cut off connectivity. The rising instances of climate change-related extreme weather events has led to criticism from the opposition that India needs a national plan to deal with and avert natural calamities.
NASA says there's still no firm return date for 2 of its astronauts currently stranded aboard the International Space Station. The space agency's engineers, along with the company Boeing, are working to repair the Starliner capsule that is supposed to bring the crew back to Earth. Ira Spitzer reports.
The return of NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams has already been delayed for over a month due to thruster failures and helium leaks on Boeing's new Starliner capsule. Engineers have been working in the New Mexico desert to try and understand why 5 of the 28 thrusters on the spacecraft failed as the Starliner approached the space station to drop the astronauts off. NASA contracts with both Boeing and SpaceX to bring astronauts to and from the ISS, and SpaceX Dragon could be a possible backup if the Starliner's issues aren't resolved.
To recap the top stories, 2 Al Jazeera journalists have been killed in Gaza, bringing the total number killed there to 120, according to Reporters Without Borders. Israel claims one was a member of Hamas's military wing. Washington says it's clear Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro lost the popular vote in the election last week. And British community leaders want police to increase patrols near mosques, with 19 far-right demonstrations planned in the coming days. That's the latest feature story news. Simon Gaitan reporting.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You know, every time that I hear that, I always ask that same question. Is that something that you consider enjoyable? But maybe that's a conversation for a different day. I mean, I never know what to say. So just some stuff right there as we are talking. Anyway, so let's get into it because there's always all kinds of stuff to discuss, talk about, and move forward with. So let's go ahead and get into the shit list right away about what is going on. Italian boxer Angelina Carini on Thursday forfeited her Olympic match against Aman Khalif of Algeria less than a minute into the bout. Contrary to some reporting, Khalif is not transgender. She is intersex, living with the rare condition causing her to have XY chromosomes and elevated levels of testosterone despite being biologically a female anatomy. In 2023, she was disqualified from participating in women's world boxing championships for these elevated levels. After forfeiting, Carini told the media, "I've never taken a punch like that. It's impossible to continue." Khalif's passport indicates that she's a woman. Algeria's government does not recognize transgender rights to change their sex. Khalif also pursued an amateur athletic career in a violent sport that, because of her biology, gives her tremendous advantage over other women. She previously competed in the 2020 Olympics against women and did not take home any medals. Khalif's chromosomes determined immutable physical characteristics that give a tremendous athletic advantage over female competitors that are typically XX chromosomes. Whether that is fair or not, or should it be, a separate discussion of high school boys who grow out with their hair and present feminine characteristics should be able to join girls' athletic teams and clubs. I mean, that's a separate conversation altogether there on how that works. So also take a listen to this. Simone Biles is the most decorated U.S. gymnast in Olympic history after winning her 8th medal this week. Team USA rowers Justin Best, Nick Med, Michael Grady, and Liam Corrigan took home the gold for the men's four, the first for the countries since 1960. With the win of the women's 4,000 by 200 freestyle relay, Kate Ledecky became the most decorated female U.S. Olympian of all time with 13 medals. Also, fencer Lee Kiefer, Lauren Scruggs, Jake Derbash, and Maya Watimba won gold in the women's team of foil and the first woman in the U.S. fencing team. Also, the USA is the first country to surpass 3,000 Olympic medals in a combined tally of both summer and winter games. No other country has even half of that. And on Thursday evening Central Time, China has the most gold medals at 11, followed by U.S. with 9, France with 8. Overall, the U.S. has the most medals with 37. Yep. That's what's going on. I mean, I don't know. Do you get excited about the Olympics? Here's the problem that I run into. And let me just kind of explain here. It's not that it's not a good thing to watch. And it's not that it's a bad thing to watch. But the thing is the delay. So because of the delay, you kind of already know what exactly is going down before it actually gets broadcast. So it becomes a problem for some. In regards to what's going on, because if you already know what's going to happen, it's like watching a football game, a basketball game, or any kind of game and already knowing the outcome before you get to see it. And, you know, people will sit back and go, well, why don't you just hide from those outcomes before anything happens? I think it's impossible to do.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
So we talked briefly about this, but take a listen. Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershwich and imprisoned American Paul Whelan have been freed from Russian captivity in a complex of international prisoner swap. Gershwich was arrested last year on trumped-up espionage charges. Whelan has been locked up since 2018, which for a similar reason, and ALSU Karmarva? Yeah, who knows what that is. A dual American-Russian citizen who was convicted in July of violating Russia's speech laws was also part of the exchange, alongside with human rights activists and journalists arrested and imprisoned by Vladimir Putin. In return, American and European authorities released Russian spies that had been locked up in 6 countries. Planes with passengers landed in Turkey to facilitate the exchange. The swap marks the biggest prisoner exchange since the end of the Cold War. So I don't know. I look at this and go, man, I think about the Red Sparrow movie, and not that I think about the Red Sparrow movie because Jennifer Lawrence being in it, but that would probably be a good reason to think about that movie. But I think about the prisoner swap aspect that took place there. So maybe that's something to give some consideration to, as how that would probably look and transpire. Not the shooting up portion, but this is transpiring the trans thing that occurred during the movie itself. It's just that particular reference. So there you go. Also, take a listen to this. Don Lemon is suing X and Elon Musk after social media site canceled his $1.5 million annual deal for production content on the platform. Musk pulled the plug on the deal, and Lemon conducted a hostile interview for the eccentric billionaire. In a statement, Lemon's attorney accused X leadership of fraud, negligence, and damages. Lemon's camp says that he was promised a total of creative control over the content. The suit asked for $35 million in damages, citing that the premises of 60% of advertising revenue share that would have materialized from posting his show on the platform 24 hours before he put it up anywhere else. This is according to CBS News. So, I mean, wasn't Lemon fired for some controversy before everything went down? I mean, I'm just asking the question, because I thought there was some controversy that did not create cash, but there was some controversy there before he was let go. So I don't know. Just some stuff to think about, because who knows? It just gets weird all the time when we start talking about this.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. Speaking of lawsuits, investors in CrowdStrike had filed their own lawsuit against the IT security company after July's massive outage, alleging fraud. In particular, they say the company failed to disclose proper testing procedures and would have prevented the catastrophic failure. This is according to The Guardian in regards to this. So let's see. not going too well. And all of a sudden now you're saying there's fraud in regards to this. I mean, I would like to know how they're coming up with some of this information. That's going to be portion of some of the stuff that's going on, because people are going to always want to know, how did you make that determination in regards of what's going on? So there you go. Just some things that are happening. But there you go. We'll see more lawsuits. No doubt about that towards CrowdStrike. So let's see what happens with the mountain of stuff going forward. Also, a Los Angeles man successfully prevented a burglary of his neighbor's house after shooting the would-be bandits with a paintball gun. Yep, I said a paintball gun. Julian Harper Smith says that he spotted a masked man crossing his property to jump the fence around the neighbor's plot. And let's see, that's when he grabbed his paintball gun and started firing. It was enough to spook off the crooks, who dashed back to their car, which Harper Smith said he also nailed with a couple of paint rounds. So far, no arrests or suspects identified. For what it's worth, police in Tarzana neighborhood, where the attempted break-in occurred, say that they're launching more patrols on horseback. On horseback? I really want to know more about this neighborhood. It sounds pretty intriguing. If you're releasing people on horseback and all kinds of weird stuff there. But just so you know, it is a California neighborhood, so I don't want you to think they're out in the middle of the woods there in regards of the things that are going on. So just information as we are talking, because why would we not talk about this? So there you go. Anyways, what else do we have going on? Let's take a look. Do we care about Cardi B? Let's talk about it. Cardi B filed for a divorce from Offset again. She's 31, he's 32. Hours after the news broke, it was announced that she is pregnant with their third child. With every ending comes a new beginning. She captioned a photo of a baby bump. Cardi's first filed for divorce in September of 2020, though they later reconciled before anything became official. Then last December, Cardi told her followers that she was single, though the pair appeared to rekindle their things a month later. No word on what led to the filing, though rumors have cheating involved. So there you go. So let's talk about this, because always a fun time when we get to start talking about the market on the things that are happening inside of there. Who doesn't want to talk about market talk? The Dow lost 494 points to close at 40,347 on Thursday. The S&P lost about 75 points to close at 5,446, and the Nasdaq lost about 405 points to close at 17,194. West Texas Intermediate closed at $76 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $80 a barrel. Bitcoin ticked up on Thursday just around 65,500, and there was more than 5,820 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, and more than about 185 cancellations. Tonight's mega million drawing will be for $358 million jackpot, or $169.7 million cash payout. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $171 million jackpot, or an $81.4 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, well, you have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. Also, take a listen to this. Tom Cruise will close out the Paris Olympics with a Mission Impossible S stunt that also serves as a bridge to the 2028 Games in Los Angeles. TMZ reports that Cruise will rappel down the top of the state in France, the Olympic flag at hand, during the closing ceremonies on August the 11th. From there, the broadcast will cut to a previously recorded clip of Cruise jumping out of a plane down the Hollywood sign again with the Olympic flag in his hand. Sources say that it was filmed back in March and shockingly went unnoticed by the paparazzi. The stunt comes 20 years after Cruise participated in the 2004 games as a torchbearer. This is according to TMZ. So there you go. So 2028, Los Angeles, in regards of what's going on with the Olympics, you know that that's going to be a fun time. Not saying that the current one is not a fun time. So there you go. Some stuff going on there. Also, Post Malone is heading to the Grand Ole Opry. He's invited to perform the iconic venue by a country superstar, Brad Paisley. Posty debuted his set on August 14. What? Posty debuted his set on August 14? I guess he's doing it on August 14 because, I mean, he can tell you about the set before then. I mean, come on. So there you go. What else do we got? Let's talk about this. The Army is looking to recoup some of an $11 million marketing deal that it made with United Football League and co-owner Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson after it failed to land a single new recruit. Military.com reports that part of the deal was that the UFL would feature Army branding on players' uniforms on its game, and Johnson would make 5 social media posts promoting the Army during the season, which ran from March through June. While there were branding during the season, Johnson only made 2 Army-related posts and none since April. Also, an internal review from the Army planners showed that the participation or the partnership actually led to the project loss of 38 enlistments. This is according to military.com. Hold on. So let me make sure that I understand this. You're telling me that you paid $11 million to the UFL, which is the new joint venture of, what was it, the USFL and the XFL, and they became the UFL. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was supposed to make 5 social media posts. He only made 2. And the uniforms were supposed to have something related to the military, and it didn't pan out, and you lost 38 enlistments? I mean, I want to understand that one. How did you lose them? Listen, I'm not trying to cause controversy here, but how do you lose it because of where it was advertised? I mean, I'm really confused on that one. That story sounds like it has some shenanigans.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's talk about this. Flavor Flav and Alexis Ohanian covered the Olympic track star Veronica Fraley August rent after tweeting about that she is competing in the Olympics yet can't pay her rent. Flav commented, "I got you. DM me and I'll send you a payment, and Ema be rooting for you." Then they jumped into the writing. "Come on now, I'll split it with you, Flavor Flav." Fraley completes today and to discuss the competition and the U.S. Weekly. So I don't know. Interesting stuff. I mean, if you take a look at some of the stuff that Flavor Flav has been doing in the background, if you take a look, people will tell you that he has been a supporter of the Olympic Games for quite some time. He just doesn't go around bragging about it. So there you go. Let me tell you about this real quick. Universal Pictures is turning Britney Spears' memoir into a biopic after dropping millions of dollars to secure the rights. Filmmaker John M. Chu will direct alongside with producer Mark Platt. As for who gets the cast for the pop princess, Insider's final decision is up to Spears. For the record, Chu and Platt most recently worked together with the upcoming movie of Wicked starring Ariana Grande. So we will see what happens there. I'm sure that that's going to be an interesting time and definitely sure as shit an interesting movie. So there you go. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's do it.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature story news in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. A major prisoner exchange between Russia and the West has taken place involving 24 prisoners, with 16 moving from Russia to the West and 8 being transferred back to Russia. 3 Americans have touched down on US soil to scenes of jubilation and relief after being imprisoned in Russia. Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, journalist Alsu Kurmasheva, and US Marine veteran Paul Whelan were part of the biggest prisoner swap between the West and Russia since the Cold War. They were met on the tarmac just outside of Washington, D.C. by their families, as well as President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Benji Hyatt watched the reunion unfold.
Applause, hugs, and raw emotion. The ex-detainees disembarking looking slightly gaunt, yet still smiling. Their families simply overjoyed. This exchange was historic and significant, the result of a multi-country complex operation involving in total 24 prisoners held in several different nations and taking place against a backdrop of the worst relations between the West and Russia in decades. US President Joe Biden hailed it as a feat of diplomacy, expressing his gratitude to international allies for helping free those that he believes were victims of politically motivated sham trials in Russia. Then I'll head to a medical facility in Texas for evaluation. Benji Hire, Washington.
The leader of Hezbollah has vowed to respond to Israel's assassination of one of the group's top commanders, telling supporters the war has now entered a new phase. From Beirut, Trent Murray reports.
Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah vowed to retaliate to Tuesday's airstrike in the southern suburbs of Beirut, which killed Fouad Shukr, one of the armed group's most senior military commanders. In a message directed to Israel, Nasrallah said certain red lines had now been crossed and that there was no discussion over whether there would be a response. Tensions remain red hot across much of the Middle East, following not just the strike in Beirut, but the assassination just 12 hours later in Tehran of the leader of Hezbollah's ally, Hamas. Western diplomats are working to diffuse tensions as European countries, the US and Australia tell their citizens to leave Lebanon immediately. Trent Murray, Beirut.
Even as the southern Indian state of Kerala is reeling in the aftermath of landslides where the death toll has now crossed 300, many regions in the north of the country have also been ravaged by heavy rains and flooding. Officials are blaming the above-average rainfall this month on the La Niña effect, which brings more rain to the subcontinent in the monsoon season. Neha Punya has more.
Rescue operations in the south of India and the state of Kerala have now entered their fourth day. Rescue teams are now searching for those isolated by the landslides. The Indian Army has constructed a 190-foot-long bridge to reach remote areas impacted by the landslides, and they've also now been able to take heavy machinery and ambulances to remote regions. Meanwhile, in the north of the country, 16 people have died in the Himalayan region of Uttarakhand after heavy rains triggered floods and cut off connectivity. The rising instances of climate change-related extreme weather events has led to criticism from the opposition that India needs a national plan to deal with and avert natural calamities.
NASA says there's still no firm return date for two of its astronauts currently stranded aboard the International Space Station. The space agency's engineers, along with the company Boeing, are working to repair the Starliner capsule that is supposed to bring the crew back to Earth. Ira Spitzer reports.
The return of NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams has already been delayed for over a month due to thruster failures and helium leaks on Boeing's new Starliner capsule. Engineers have been working in the New Mexico desert to try and understand why 5 of the 28 thrusters on the spacecraft failed as the Starliner approached the space station to drop the astronauts off. NASA contracts with both Boeing and SpaceX to bring astronauts to and from the ISS, and SpaceX Dragon could be a possible backup if the Starliner's issues aren't resolved.
To recap the top stories, 2 Al Jazeera journalists have been killed in Gaza, bringing the total number killed there to 120, according to Reporters Without Borders. Israel claims one was a member of Hamas's military wing. Washington says it's clear Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro lost the popular vote in the election last week. And British community leaders want police to increase patrols near mosques, with 19 far-right demonstrations planned in the coming days. That's the latest feature story news. Simon Gaitan reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, Since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage. I'm talking the truth.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain, What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there.
Like I give a flying, you know.
The ocean blooms over your shoulders. Well, I'm just tossing by the wayside. There's a secret to your majesty. I wanna know it 'cause I can't let you forget me. But what you waiting for? And I just wanna see you care more. I'm not gonna kiss you any more times. Experience your love in the way you lie. We're just human, don't forget you owe me for reminding you you'll die. I am lost in who are we? Society not built to see the atom bombs and families. A kiss, a summer sky. The infants and the mystery. You're sizing up mortality and lying here.
Okay, there you go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that. This right here is Caremore. Yeah, Caremore by Oceanic. You know, we used to rock the shit out of some Oceanic around here before. So there you go. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. So you might want to give it a little streamer-eamer action just for information purposes.
Families, a kiss, a summer sky. The infants and
So there you go.
mystery.
Always a fun time. Thanks for Oceanic for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, there you go. Always some good old time-o, no doubt-o for sure-o. So, churro, churro, murro. Okay, with that being said, let's talk about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, and let's talk about the most important thing that I'm ever going to tell you, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com. That's twloha.com to find out more information. To Write Love on Her Arms. There you go. To Write Love on Her Arms.com. Go to the section all the way to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's some information that's readily available right there. Once you get into it, understand that you can look, get some general information. They'll even give you resources for helplines that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 988 is always an option as well. You can text and call that one as well as we are going through that whole process. So, To Write Love on Her Arms, twloha.com. So there you go. A lot of info, a lot of things to talk about. Always important information to discuss. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Anyway, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. And let's talk about some movie openings this week. Harold and the Purple Crayon, rated PG, inside of his book of adventures. Harold can make anything come to life, and simply by drawing it after he grows up and draws himself off the book pages and into the physical world. Harold finds that he has a lot to learn in real life. So there you go. That's rated PG. The Firing Squad, rated PG-13, based on a true story of 3 Christian prisoners for face execution in a third world country and how their joy in Christ results in stunning conclusion. So that comes out today as well. Trap PG-13. A father and teen daughter attend a pop concert where they realize they are the center of a dark, sinister event. That comes out today as well. So there you go. Yeah, that's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. So be prepared if you're going to go see that one. Been talking to my kid here in regards to maybe we should see that. So we'll see what happens. Also, let's talk about this. You're definitely heard people complaining about the rising cost of traditional fast food hamburger meal lately. But for the prices aren't quite reached that level yet. A New York restaurant called A Sip and Guzzle is offering a $150 cheeseburger that's served with a golden platter named the Royale with cheese, probably inspired by the movie Pulp Fiction. The Soup Up Sammy was recently described for Food Critic as the fanciest cheeseburger they're ever going to eat, and exactly what it sounds like. The Royale with cheese features A5 Wagyu meat, the highest grade beef in the world, and is topped with white cheddar. It is seasoned with minced onions and special wasabi-based barbecue sauce, smoked soy sauce, brown sugar, tomato, rice vinegar, and a Japanese condiment. Rather than to serve with a bougie burger and a bun, the Royale is wrapped in milk bread with that's flown fresh from a bakery in L.A. and served into a golden bento-like box. One influencer described it as a fancy Sammy as cheese, dreamy, and Wagyu meat goodness. Yeah, it's about about $30 a bite. You know what I'm saying, for a cheeseburger. I can go to McDonald's for $150. I mean, come on. And I think that I missed the opportunity, including the cheese. If you are willing to pay the extra $2 for the cheese on a $12 burger, just imagine what this place is going to charge for a slice or two of this baby. I mean, so I'm just saying, $150 hamburger. I mean, let's just call it what it is, because there is no doubt about anything else there. So 150 simoleons in regards of it. So I don't know. Look at it, and you make the determination if it's something that would be worthwhile for you in regards of doing that. I don't know. So let's talk about some news of the weird real quick. A Chinese woman has become and became the first person charged for riding a 3-wheeled electric suitcase on a sidewalk in Japan. The growing popularity of the rideable suitcase with electric motors designed to get people quickly around airports and train stations has alarmed Japanese authorities following the rise of incidents in foreign visitors using the legally on public roads. An electric suitcase was built in battery and electric motor that can travel around up to 6 miles per hour, give or take, and sells there for about $640. Under Japanese law, the suitcase is categorized as a motorized bicycle, and as such, they need to be registered and equipped with rear view mirrors and turn signals. They make you wear a seatbelt too, if those for those with seats. So there you go. Something to think about as we are talking. Also, a British woman is trying to find a new home for her collection of 163 bedpans after they, if you can believe it, failed to sell at auction. Mary Jacobs, the owner that might be the Europe's largest collection of bedpans, started the usual hobby while helping out rummage sales of Salvation Armies in 1984. She now has 163 different bedpans and a wee problem. She ran out of room to store them. Her attempt to offload them at auction last month failed to attract bidders. Quote, "I hope they go to a good home. They're clean, washed, in fantastic condition. I'm going to come right out and say it. Clean and washed could be absolutely the bare minimum when we're trying to sell something like that. I mean, I'm just saying, just something to think about. Anyways, with that being said, let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
Minute, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Bill. John C. Maxwell said, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." I love this. I witnessed something amazing about 10 years ago, but I didn't have my phone to get a photo. I wish I did. I was in South Dakota. In the wintertime, we would often get a lot of snow. One evening, I was attending an event in a building that had many different offices. One of the offices was the Governor's Office of Economic Development. As I was walking into the building, I saw a man shoveling the snow. It was Dennis Dugard. He was the governor of the state of South Dakota at the time. I said, "What are you doing out here?" He said, "I'm clearing a path for our guests." I was so impressed with that. I'll never forget. What a guy.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. While writing East of Eden, John Steinbeck began each day's work with a letter to Pascal Cavinci, his friend and editor. His letter served to warm him up for his day's work and became a kind of commentary on the novel itself. I can distinctly remember hoping that someday I might have a friend who shared my love for books and my passion for writing. God gave me such a friend, Keith Provance, my publisher. That was 37 years ago, and today our friendship is stronger than ever. Why? Because it is built on our shared faith in Jesus Christ and our mutual appreciation for the written word. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for blessing me with a friend like that. In your holy name I pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. 2 Al Jazeera journalists have been killed in Gaza, bringing the total number killed there to 120, according to Reporters Without Borders. Israel claims one was a member of Hamas's military wing. Washington says it's clear Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro lost the popular vote in the election last week. And British community leaders want police to increase patrols near mosques, with 19 far-right demonstrations planned in the coming days.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1989, NASA confirmed Voyager 2 discovered of the 3 more moons of Neptune. The moons were tentatively named 1989 N2, 1989 N3, and 1989 N24. So there you go. That happened back on this date, back in 1989. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about this. Austin Theory turns 27. Charlie XCX turns 32. Vander Kane, 33. JD Vance turns 40 today. Nick Diaz, 41. Sam Worthington turns 48. Let's see. Kevin Smith turns 54, and Mary Lewis Parker, she turns 60 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays for you if you're taking a look at some of those. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, we have some of those for you. It's International Beer Day, National Coloring Book Day, National CAD Day, and National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. So go out there and celebrate one of those if you can. Also, before I forget, Conklin Conference coming up. September the 10th through the 13th, listen to me, September the 10th through the 12th, going down in Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you want to come and enjoy that time frame, we will be doing that in Santa Fe. For more information, safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io to find out some more information of the things that are going on inside of the world. So there you go. Also, let's talk about this real quick. If you need a random joke for today, here you go. I've really turned my life around, but in a bad way. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. If you are arrested with no explanation, what would your friend and family assume you had done? Yeah, too many things to list, probably. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. 75% of us do this more while on vacation than any other time. What is it? Talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers, baby, don't you now? So there you go. So that's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely Freeform Friday as we get to do all the things that we get to do. No doubt about that. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to RadioBig.fm for the next couple hours or so if you want to come and hang out with me as we talk about the world of music and entertainment. If not, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Anyways, enjoy your weekend. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. And if I can leave you with a deep thought for this weekend, happiness is held in the seed, and happiness is shared is the flower. Keep that in mind as we go through it. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.